Our burgers are each bag.
Off to a good start.
I know. This is fantastic. All right. So we are on a quest to find a burger worthy of Jughead. And I've got artist Joe Eisma with me. We're going to start off at Burgesa Burger. And I'm going to turn off my blinker. And that's it, I think. So I did a little research on the Burgesa Burger place. And it says they love Mexican food and they love burgers. And they wanted to kind of combine those two concepts together.
That's great. I mean, I love both of those as well. So, I mean, yeah, that's... I can't wait to check this one out.
You've been doing comics for about how long?
Professionally, about 9 years.
What was the first thing that you kind of got your start on?
I did a book called A Dummy's Guide to Danger, Lost at Sea, which was about a detective who had a ventriloquist dummy as a partner.
Oh, I remember that. We actually stocked it. It was by Viper Comics from around here.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Yep. You were one of the first places I hit up whenever it came out for promoting it. I did when you did Cape, your free comic book day show.
What were you doing prior to that? You were clearly, you just didn't come out of nowhere doing art for the first time.
No, I was working freelance in video games. I was doing I was an art director for just a small independent developer, and yeah, so I had an art background before coming into comics.
All right, so we're about to try the Burgesa Burger. We've got refried beans, ham, a tostado, cheese, and of course, beef.
Yeah.
All right, you ready?
Oh yeah.
Okay, here we go. Oh wow.
Nice.
That is really good. Oh my goodness.
A little messy, but
yeah. So, let's talk Riverdale.
Mm-hmm.
You've been watching the show so far?
Absolutely. Yeah.
What do you think about it?
I really like it. It wasn't at all what I expected initially. When I first saw the trailers, I was kind of taken aback because it's a completely different take on the Archie mythos. But I really like it. I love the teen drama aspect, the murder mystery aspect. Like everything to me just works.
I was kind of surprised too. I was expecting kind of, the CW teen drama style, more the same. But we know that with Archie from the classic comics has always been about kind of a lighthearted look at comics and teens and the social issues they're going through, but never really something quite so deep or dark or heavy. And we kick it right off with a murder.
I know. Yeah.
And a murder mystery at that.
Yep.
So do you have any theories so far about who the murderer is?
No, not yet. I mean, like, I kind of feel like I'm still kind of in the dark, which a lot of the cast are too. I mean, Jughead really seems to be the only one that is like pushing for answers, and trying to solve the mystery. I do think there's some people that are kind of questionable, like Betty's mom. She really does not have a high opinion of the Blossoms at all. So, I mean, I don't know if that translates to motive, but who knows?
There's talking about the murder mystery, we kick off initially, and it was already kind of shady with Cheryl, the way that just kind of, she just kind of said, we went out for a boat ride.
Yep.
I think she said something like, we're here, Jason, are you ready? Or something weird like that. She goes on the boat ride and then just comes back, he fell overboard.
Yep.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Was distraught. The whole kind of humbling of Veronica has really made me understand her and Betty's dynamic a lot more.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, I think that's probably my favorite aspect of the show are Betty and Veronica.
Oh, for sure.
And
I could watch a whole show of just Betty and Veronica.
Yeah, totally. And I think that's something that Archie Comics, like the publishers, actually paid really close attention to. I mean, they launched a Betty and Veronica series, and like within the comic that I drew with Mark Waid, I mean, that was always a really kind of strong aspect of the story was their relationship.
So catching people up just real quickly, Joe draws the Archie comic right now in kind of the new Archie universe, if you will, kind of a more modern take on Archie. And he is drawing it alongside, an industry veteran, fantastic Mark Waid, who does a really good job. He knows how to balance humor as well as drama. And it's not just your parents, joke every other panel comic book at all.
No, not at all. I mean, it's very much like you said, it's kind of like a modern sensibilities to it. They're calling it like the new Riverdale continuity. And it's a lot of fun. Like you said, I mean, there's the humor. Archie's always kind of had that penchant for humor. But Mark Waid, I think he really instilled like a really strong sense of drama and strong characterization within the cast that, to me, when I grew up, because my sister read, the Archie Digest that you pick up at the grocery store, and, I would read them too, but they were always just kind of one-dimensional characters.
Right, very much so.
Yeah, but not the case with this run. I mean, like, the characters really have depth.
So you specifically got to draw an entire storyline with kind of the introduction of Cheryl Blossom. Mm-hmm. What are the similarities between the comic Cheryl Blossom and the television show Cheryl Blossom?
Well, Cheryl in the comics, like her and her brother. I mean, her brother's not dead for one thing.
Jason,
but they make like sort of like a Hanna-Barbera cartoon character kind of duo. They're just kind of comical in their attempts to be evil and for sabotage, And
so they're kind of maniacal villains.
Yeah.
But satirical maniacal.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I love it. It's great to play up those humorous aspects. But in Riverdale, I think their relationship's a little bit more complicated, a little bit more sinister. Their characters are obviously a lot more malevolent, I think. But
Cheryl in the show certainly has a lot of those wicked, dark lines. I mean, they're definitely giving her all of the kind of hard, sharp dialogue.
Yeah.
One of the things that I find fascinating about the Riverdale show is the kind of creator of the show, Roberto Aguirre-Sacasa, who has been to the store, Zeus Comics, a few times. He actually writes two comics for Archie. One is Afterlife with Archie, and one is Sabrina the Chilling Adventures.
Right.
What's fascinating about the situation in Afterlife with Archie is they kind of touch on this idea that Cheryl and Jason Blossom might have had an incestuous relationship. I don't want to ruin any storylines for anybody, but it's a great comic book if you want to go out and buy it. A really, really dark take. So I see him bringing some of his Afterlife with Archie, which is Archie meets zombies. I see him bringing a lot of that forward in the show with the dark nature to it.
Oh yeah, and I totally can see him like taking the show in that direction because, their relationship in the show kind of makes you raise your eyebrows a little bit.
So we're just a few episodes in, but I've already got one working theory right now, and that is that Geraldine Grundy is not everything that she appears. I think her fling with Archie was a ruse to mask exactly what she was doing at the time Jason died. Now, the show just recently said that Jason died a week after that particular moment, but he was bound up to that point. It'd be kind of interesting if Geraldine Grundy had Jason bound somewhere and kept him kind of prisoner, if you will, while she did this fling with Archie to kind of cover it up.
We haven't spent a lot of time with her, but her behavior is very questionable. I mean, obviously it's very questionable, but
as I noticed, Jason Blossom is a ginger and Archie is a ginger, so she might have a thing.
Everybody's got a type.
Everybody's got a type. There are ginger fetishists out there. I know. Yeah. And what's up with Polly? She's in an asylum.
Right. Exactly.
So is she a potential killer? Are we going to meet Polly at some point?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would think that they would with as much time as they're spending talking about her.
Yeah.
So I think that that's something they're going to have to follow up on.
Yeah. Is Betty's mom covering up for Polly?
Oh.
Or is Betty's mom covering up for Betty? For Alice or herself?
Yeah.
All right.
All good theories.
Cool. All right, you ready for the next burger?
Let's do it.
Let's finish this and let's go on. Here we go. Right. Joe, we're at the second burger place. We are at Offside Kitchen.
Yep.
We're on the quest to find a burger worthy of Jughead.
Yep.
What have you got there? Do you know?
I've got a locals only, and I think it's just your basic burger: lettuce, onion, tomato, with cheese and bacon.
And no mayo.
Yeah, no mayo.
It's all mustard, which is very Texas.
Yes.
It also has chopped jalapenos in it.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yes.
You know more about my burger than I do.
Yeah. So I'm going to be trying the green chili and bacon. It's supposed to have caramelized onions, Munster cheese, and of course I assume because bacon is in the title, it has bacon. First bite, here we go.
All right.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah. This is definitely different than the burger we had at Burguesa.
Oh, yeah.
This is definitely a little more traditional. That last burger had refried beans and tostados on it.
Yep.
And this is straight up American beef on there for sure.
Yep, this is very Texas, and I just got it all over my shirt.
Yeah, it's a good thing we have more Riverdale shirts.
I know, right?
So you have some history actually drawing teenagers or high school students
yeah.
based on a comic you did called Morning Glories over at Image Comics.
That's right, yeah. it's I guess if you're going to get typecast, I guess there are worse things to get typecast about. But
now, do you have any sense of Archie Comics now? You did a run on Archie with Mark Waid.
Yep.
And you're now moving over to do Riverdale based upon the show.
Yep.
Did any of your background from Morning Glories kind of play into that? What was the decision? How did you end up over at Archie Comics?
Well, I had been in touch with those guys for a while. I know Alex Segura, who was their SVP there, and he and I touched base a couple years ago, right around the time they relaunched Archie with Fiona Staples, and I wanted to do a variant cover, so I did a variant, and it was based on James Dean, Rebel Without a Cause.
Yes, I remember that cover.
Yeah, that movie poster.
I totally remember the cover. We had that cover in store.
Yeah, and just kept in touch with them, because I knew they were going to be rotating artists, and Fiona was only going to do 3 issues, so I talked with them about following up with Fiona, but it didn't come together at that time, and I think they just kind of kept me in mind, and I just kind of, over this last year, just the offer came out of the blue, and that's kind of how it is in comics. You just things just kind of happen with no build-up.
So you're drawing Archie, and you're about to draw Riverdale. In drawing the Riverdale comic book, are you using character likenesses? How close is that involved in?
Yeah, I mean, for the Riverdale book, I do try to, be a little bit closer to the actual actors and actresses in the show. It was never kind of mandated to me that, I had to have them exact. But, I do try to match them as closely as possible, just so that the readers can know, that's Madeline Petch as, Cheryl, that's Lily Reinhardt as Betty. I want them to be able to tell these things, but, it's not going to be an exact thing, because you're drawing these characters over a series of panels for several pages. You at least try to keep them somewhat consistent, but, it's, likenesses are probably, you can ask any artist, they're probably one of the most difficult things to draw. The
issue itself, without being too spoiler, what's the comic book like?
Well, I mean, it's a lot like the show. I mean, it's kind of dark. At least, what it is, basically, what you can expect from the Riverdale ongoing is 2 stories per issue. They'll be divided into 2 stories. So the first story centers on Archie and his group of friends, and then the second story, at least in the first issue, is about Cheryl and Betty and Veronica. So, yeah. So
Roberto in drawing a lot of his, and doing a lot of his stuff, where after with Archie with Sabrina Teenage Witch, there's an element of horror that kind of pulls into it. Not just mystery, but horror. Is that what we're going to see from the show and from the comic as well, do you think?
Yeah, definitely for sure. In the Archie story, there was some horror stuff in there, which, I'm not saying it's not unfamiliar territory for me, because, Morning Glories was a lot like that too. I mean, we had the teen drama stuff, but it was also very horror, centered.
Yeah,
and,
for sure.
So it kind of, I was like, okay, this is something I can handle. I know this territory. Yeah.
And the comic itself is going to have a little bit of humor in there, but kind of be a little darker.
Yeah. No, I think you can't really do Archie without somebody cracking a joke.
Sure.
So.
All right, here we go. Holy crap. Guys, can you see this? Can you see all this chili on here? Wow, this is massive. Are you ready? Here we go. First bite. I think I'm in love. If I could marry a sandwich, I would marry this sandwich. Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
One of the things that you're getting to do coming up for Archie Comics is you're drawing a one-shot in this new Riverdale universe, if you will, the comics Riverdale universe.
Yes.
About Archie's the band. What kind of is it about? I mean, what is it about him starting the band?
Yeah.
Is it about...
Yeah, basically, it's like you said, it springboards from the current new Riverdale continuity that Mark Waid and Fiona Staples started with Archie #1. This one is written by Alex Segura and Matthew Rosenberg.
Wow!
And it's a great fun story. It's not it's tonally it's completely different than Riverdale because it's more lighthearted.
Right.
But yeah, it basically centers on Archie and Jughead forming the Archies, the band.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's got some, it just shows the kind of highs and lows of that whole process, and hopefully ends on a triumphant note for these, no pun intended, for these guys. But Yeah, it's just fun. It's fun for them, and you get to see so many of the characters in the Archie universe and what instruments they play, because there's a big kind of tryout scene, and like you've got obscure characters like Moose and Dilton, and just all sorts of whoever you can think of, pretty much.
So having completed that first story arc with Cheryl Blossom for Archie with Mark Waid, I saw this a lot when you were doing Morning Glories. People would come to the convention cosplaying as the characters from Morning Glories. Yeah. Are you seeing that now with Archie too? Is anybody coming forward to you with like, hey, I'm dressed up as Cheryl Blossom, or I'm dressed up as Archie?
I haven't seen anybody yet, but it's still kind of early in 2017 that we're filming this, and I haven't really done a lot of comic conventions this year. So, I mean, who knows? I would love to see, people cosplaying as these characters, because it's not, to me, it doesn't seem like that's that difficult for, them to do. I mean, it's pretty easy to replicate those looks, I would think.
Has anybody asked you at conventions to draw them in their cosplay characters? I mean, what kind of requests do you get at conventions?
Yeah. You get all kinds of requests. I mean, like, most of the time, it's usually just, draw Batgirl or something like that. Yeah. But occasionally you'll have people, with real specific things. Like, I've had people want me to draw them as characters in Morning Glories. I've also had people want me to draw their animals.
Their animals?
Yeah, like I had a woman ask me to draw her pet gerbils as Iron Man and Captain America. And I've drawn a lot of dogs. People will bring dogs. Like,
really?
I did your show, Free Comic Book Day one year, and had a couple people like bring their dogs up, because it's an outdoor show.
Yeah.
People just hanging out and like, hey, could you draw my dog? Sure.
Okay.
So, yeah. Yeah.
I don't know that I would want to do that. Yeah. I mean, you've got the reference right there.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not a character you have to go look up. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Fido. Okay, cool. No, I have to look up Fido. No, he's right here. I can just pull from him.
Right.
So. That's fantastic. Yeah. How's the burger going?
Oh, this is phenomenal. I'm really digging this. It's huge. Look at the size of this thing.
We just got back from the Rodeo Goat, and this is probably the restaurant with the most interesting ingredients. Let's see, we've got, Joe is going to switch it up this time and try a turkey burger.
Turkey burger.
I'm sure Jughead would want to switch it up as well. I'm going to be trying the Mike Rollins Mayor of Dallas burger. My Mike Rollins burger, in terms of being the most interesting, has candied bacon on it. It has Irish whiskey cheddar cheese, I think is the cheddar cheese. And, I can smell it. And it has a blackberry compote on it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, mine's got hydroponic greens or something on it. I couldn't really remember exactly what it said. And turkey patty, so, yeah.
All right, okay. So here we go. We're going to be trying our burgers. Ready?
All right.
And, you ready?
Yep.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm.
Spilling stuff everywhere.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
This is good.
Oh, my goodness. So this is burger 4. We have now had 4 burgers on this burger cruise.
I don't need to eat for a week.
I know. Oh, I had a question for you, now that I think about this. You talked about this once. You had to draw a plate of burgers for Jughead.
Yeah.
And I remember you showing this photo of a plate of burgers. Didn't you stage?
No.
No?
That's all thanks to Google. What the scene actually was Archie was kind of distraught about Veronica.
Yeah.
For, you can read the comic to figure out why.
Right.
So anyway, he basically slowly turned into Jughead, essentially. So he started dressing like Jughead and acting kind of indifferent about things like Jughead. And to complete the transformation, just started eating like Jughead. So, like, there was just one scene where he goes into Jughead's house and just makes a huge pile of food. And, I'm trying to, like, I could draw that, but I'm like, yeah, I'll see if I could just find a visual reference just to see if somebody's actually done this. And
there was like a plate of burgers, wasn't
it?
Speaking of CW, in addition to Riverdale on CW, one of the other CW shows is The Flash.
Yeah.
And you had the great opportunity of actually doing Wally West in the Flash comic. I think issues 50 and 51, you did a backup story that has Wally West. What was that like?
It was great. I mean, it was sort of Wally's kind of introduction into the Flash mythos of that particular New 52 continuity. And, it was really great because it's sort of like, you imagine like if you're a kid and you get superpowers, just the wish fulfillment and the sense of optimism that you would have. And that's really what that story represented. Because like there's so many stories about superheroes that are like really dark and gritty tales, and Wally, and the Flash too. Like they're sort of like the complete opposite of that. And the fact that my kids are huge Flash fans, that was a huge kick.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, to be able to draw a character that they actually know and like.
Because it was kind of coinciding with the show as well. It was
Yeah.
really fun to see the birth of the Wally of the New 52 universe.
Yeah.
Who has a similar costume and a similar style to the one in the show. And it was about the same time that the one in the show was also getting his costume and his abilities and powers as well.
Yeah.
It was really fun.
Yeah.
But now what we're looking at is the stuff that's coming out for you. So you've wrapped up your Cheryl Blossom storyline for Archie.
Yeah, and our third, that'll get collected into the third trade paperback for Archie for that series. And that should be out, I think, the latter part of April.
Right,
So.
and then Riverdale, the ongoing series based upon the show Riverdale,
Right.
Is set to launch also probably in April.
Yeah, early April, April 5th, I think is the date.
So we'll probably have some comics of Riverdale coming out over the course of the summer when the show is probably taking its hiatus.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's their hope and their plan that they can kind of continue the momentum. Hopefully that the show will have. So
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, so. That's great. That's wonderful. Thank you for coming and joining me out for this burger tour. We may have to do this again.
Yeah, this has been awesome.
The burger cruise. All right, so this is our fourth and final burger.
Yeah, and we should probably pick
a winner?
Our favorites, yeah.
All right.
What about you? Which of the four was your fave?
That's going to be really, really tough. I think if Jughead were looking for just kind of a very rich, kind of 100% beef, greasy burger that was manageable, I would have to say Offside Kitchen.
Yeah. I think I would agree because that one to me just like it hit all the right notes.
It did.
Of burgers, and I think like Jughead would probably go crazy for Offside Kitchen if he had eaten there.
Maple and Motor was so straightforward that I think it'd be a great place that the Archie gang would want to go hang out.
Oh yeah, totally.
And just have that.
Yeah.
Now these burgers here at Rodeo Goat were just unique. I mean, this candied bacon and this stuff, it's very, very flavorful.
Yeah, I like this one, and then Burguesa too. It's like just kind of thinking outside the box, not the traditional thing.
Putting ham on there and refried beans and a tostado.
Yeah,
So, but Offside is probably the Jughead burger.
I would think so.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for joining us. And you can catch Joe's work in Archie's Comics, the Cheryl Blossom storyline specifically, and the ongoing comic book for Riverdale based upon the television show. And Joe, thank you so much for coming out, and thank you guys for watching Zeus Comics Presents on CW33.
Thanks.
Cheers.